The Sears Auto EE 50mm f1.4 was made in Japan and first announced for sale in the 1973 Fall-Winter Sears catalog. This was the kit lens for the Sears Auto TLS SLR. Since Sears didn't make any cameras or lenses, both the lens and the camera were made by Ricoh in Japan. The Ricoh Auto TLS EE and the Auto Recanon EE 50mm f1.4 were simply rebranded for Sears, and both cameras and lenses were exactly the same. Back in 1973, the Sears Auto TLS, together with the lens we're discussing today, sold for $279. I found the camera and lens combo on eBay for only $30. This Sears branded camera was offered for only 2 years, and in 1975, it was replaced by the Sears 2000 ES, which was supplied with a different lens. The green letters EE seen here on the front plate are an acronym for Electric Eye. This was an early auto exposure mode that worked in the following way. Once you set the aperture ring to the EE setting, you only had to choose your shutter speed, and the camera selected the correct aperture for proper exposure. According to this description in the Sears catalog, this lens has 7 elements, but unfortunately I have not been able to find the lens diagram. This lens accepts filters with 52mm diameter. Aperture ranges from f1.4 to f16 with clicks for full stops only. The diaphragm is made of 6 slightly rounded aperture blades. Focus throw is approximately 220 degrees. On the back, this lens has M42 mount. I use M42 to Sony E helicoid adapter, which allows me to focus closer when the adapter is extended, and if I need to reach infinity, I simply rotate it back to its normal position. This lens weighs 252 grams. Minimum focusing distance from your subject to your film plane or sensor is 50 centimeters, but when used with a fully extended helicoid adapter, that distance shrinks down to only 20 centimeters. The Sears Auto EE 50mm f1.4 is a lens that has stood the test of time in my collection. Over the years, I have tried many 50mm f1.4 lenses, but I always find myself returning to this one. While it doesn't have the clinical perfection of modern lenses, it offers something far more captivating, a magical rendering that's difficult to put into words. Let's start with sharpness, where this lens truly shines. Even wide open at f1.4, it is impressively sharp in the center. In fact, it is the sharpest vintage 50mm f1.4 lens that I have tested so far. Stopping it down only enhances its performance. By f2.8, it is very sharp throughout most of the frame, and by f5.6, it achieves frame-wide perfection. Between f5.6 and f11, you can trust it to deliver consistent, crystal-clear results. What surprised me most about this lens is how well it handles chromatic aberrations, especially considering its age. Wide open, there is some faint magenta fringing, but even that is minimal compared to other fast lenses from the early 70s. Stop it down slightly, and the fringing completely disappears, leaving clean and crisp results. For a lens that's 50 years old, its ability to manage chromatic aberrations is nothing short of remarkable. The colors that this lens produces are another highlight. They have a softer, more muted quality, not overly saturated but subtle and timeless. This creates a vintage look to the images, which I personally love. The bokeh too deserves mention. It has a smooth, almost painterly quality that enhances the unique rendering of this lens. Whether isolating a subject or creating dreamy backgrounds, the bokeh always feels pleasing and intentional. Of course, the Sears lens has its quirks, but they only add to its charm. As a single-coated lens, it flares like crazy, but I absolutely love the creative possibilities that flares contribute to photography. There's some vignetting at f1.4, but it's completely gone by f4. Barrel distortion is present, but it's quite minor and unlikely to be an issue for most uses. What really ties this lens together is its build quality. The all-metal construction is solid and reassuring, reminiscent of Pentax Takumar lenses from the same period. Everything about it feels precise and well-made, from the buttery smooth focusing mechanism to the satisfying clicks of the aperture ring. So at the end of the day, this Sears lens isn't perfect in the way modern lenses try to be, but that's precisely why I love it. It combines sharpness, character, and personality in a way that few lenses do. So if you're looking for a vintage 50mm f1.4 lens with exceptional performance and a magical rendering, this one is a real treasure. And here are a few clips for those of you who are wondering how this lens performs for video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time here at Vintage Optics.